Well, here we have Farndale Murder Mystery. Here is the Samuel French edition. It's a very bad recording of which I played the leading character in it. And it was there really that because it was such a big part that it gave me the idea to do a few one-woman shows from that. And I used the writers for my first one-woman show, which was called Take Off with Mrs. Frumberger.
I'm so tired I can hardly speak, and my feet have been killing me all the way from Miami. What's this? Stella! Lou! What are you doing here? What is this? Pardon? Welcome home, Fanny and Davy. A surprise party. How come I never knew about this surprise? Amy, did you know about this surprise party? Well, why didn't you tell me, Isa Levy, or you make a fool of me? Don't tell me you haven't. I'm standing here a fool already. I'll speak to you later. Stella, Lou, all of you, I'm so thrilled. But I mean, look at me. I would have dressed if I'd known. These are my rags. What a way to clean the house after the cleaning woman's been. Here, make yourself useful. Not on the floor, Amy. It's a sample. It's got to go back. 25 years in the business and he still doesn't know from nothing. So when do we make a living? Well, I might as well get into the spirit of things. I'll change my shoes. My Miami party shoes. You need sunglasses. Did you hire this place specially for me? You couldn't find anywhere better? How'd you breathe in here? I stopped as soon as I came in. Are you looking forward to the wedding tomorrow? Me too. Tell me, is Martin here? No? He's making a mistake. He made the mistake. Enough said. Are these crisps fresh? I've tasted better. Needs more salt. Have you flown Pan American lately? You get all these little schnick-schnacks on the side. Well, the man beside me on the plane, he fell asleep, so I took his little bump. Go, see if you get that. Oh, and even matches. Here, have some matches. Enjoy. I have three. Why not? Wait a minute, I might have some more. I might have. Yes, I have. Enjoy. There we are. Now, what's this? Oh, that's from the hotel. I must remember to You know, I've been on the go 9 hours. I must look a sight. I think I'll freshen up a bit. Are you coming out or are you staying? All right, stay. Life and soul of the party, my Abby.
Mrs. Frumberger is on a world trip with her husband Abby. They had a burglary, and on the insurance claim they were able to afford to go on a nice world trip. So the show is really about Mrs. Frumberger's idea on the world. The world for her up to that point had been Golders Green. So her, her way of looking at the world was quite humorous. Right. What happens is AB, her husband, never appears. He's always in the wings, and she's shouting orders at him to do this or that or the other, but he doesn't appear. But there are certain suggestions that he might have been very interested in his secretary, who gets lots of communication through to him, and Fanny Frumberger is talking about this secretary, Naomi Mitzinger, and as they're going through the world trip, she and the secretary's name appears, and by the end of the show, when she asks Abby to come and carry her suitcases, her leopard skin suitcase, he's actually gone, and there's just a note saying, sorry, I've left, and I'm going off with Naomi Mitzinger. So it was a very tragic end, very quickly in the show, where in a way it's not what I imagined that generation would, in my experience, wouldn't have happened. But dramatically it made a very tragic end for a woman who had taken her husband for granted to do everything, and actually was not aware of what was really going on, and what would have happened to this woman without her husband. You know, someone who had relied on him for her everything and taken him for granted. What would her life have become without him?
Did you order the duvet for Victor and Elsa's dog? I said, Amy, if only you listened to me, did you order the duvet for Victor and Elsa's dog? What's this? A note? Oh, how exciting. Bubala, thank you for the last 25 years. I'm returning to London to begin a new life with Naomi Mitzinger. Good luck. Love, Amy. Thank you for the party. It's been so nice to see all my friends. So nice to be home. Amy, I enjoyed it very much.
What about the other play? Bob is even more surreal, I think.
Bobo Frobisher is more surreal. It was about the meaning of life, and I appear with these bare-breasted plastic boobs, not my own, I hasten to add. And the idea happened because I had a bad taste party, and I appeared to my friends very seriously, dressed up with these bare breasts, and, you know, sort of, they loved the idea of the seriousness and the absurdity of these breasts. So I thought, why don't I write a lecture about the meaning of life looking the way I did? And in a way, I suppose it's saying, let's look beneath the surface of things to find out what's really going on, because I don't think I knew, but at the same time I didn't want to be judged on the appearance. So it was a difficult perspective for the audience, I think. It was unlike anything else I've ever seen. But what I realised, the writing of it was very much my own idea about Freud's theories on the subconscious, unconscious, whatever it is, consciousness, in my own way, which I had no idea. I'd never read Freud or anything. But I was trying to bring up the sort of what is it that enlightens us, that's really deep, that is pure and wonderful.
Now, I should like to discuss rather deeply handbag. I find, and I don't know whether you experience the same difficulty, but I can't seem to find a suitable shaped handbag in the shops today. And BB suits my every requirement. You see, being a PhD, I am constantly having to refer to books for answers as I read the questions. So having BB around, I have my own mobile reference library, so to speak, on my shoulder every day of the week, every hour of the day. All right, BB, calm down. What's the matter? You want some bran, do you? All right, just hold there a minute. I must give her some bran because she's on one of these fiber diets, you know, watching the waistline. There we are. Good girl. There are two main points that I think we should head towards in achieving this almost intangible and ceaseless search for an upright position in our food. Stop tittering, please. In our food processor existences. And for the sake of illustrating these points, I have brought with me a flip chart to make things clearer for you. It's clear as mud, I suppose. Now, the first point is the perverse influence of a monumentally vast gribbinia. I repeat, gribbinia. Now, if I may define this term on the flip chart, of course, you can see the symbol of the gribbinia, which is something that in our lives we were always trying to ward off. A gribbinia is a cloud of nastiness that comes at us all the time, obstructing our lives. We have to get rid of these gribbinias, and through the course of the lecture this evening I will explain how to do this. Now, the second point is this one here. The outwardly ordered ceruleum affecting the submerged psyche. Now, the outwardly ordered ceruleum here is what this psyche, which we can call for the sake of the argument, the imagination, right? Imagination, trying to come up through the ceruleum and ward off, of course, the gribbinias.
Do you just want me to talk?
Sorry.
You just want me to talk?
Yes, please.
My final performance, really, which was probably the end of my theatre career, because I challenged myself as much as I possibly could on the division between audience and performer. And I was doing a one-woman show in Wormwood Scrubs to life sentence prisoners, playing all these different sorts of characters and involving the audience in participation. We nearly had a riot, and I think after that I realised that I was more going for the caring profession than the performing profession, as I was very interested in these life sentence prisoners and their lives. And when I left the prison with the scenery on my car, I saw them all lined up going back to their cells, and I was very interested in knowing about their lives. And performance seemed to take a second nature to what I had experienced in my life, as needing to live on a bit of a tightrope, to really extend my comfort zone as much as possible, to learn as much as I needed to do about what I was trying to find out. And I don't know really what I was trying to find out, but I think as the decades are passing by, I'm beginning to feel more connected to just my inner being. And performance was a very natural way for me to live my life. Now I don't do very much performance, just at the dinner table now and again. But so Wormwood Scrubs was a fantastic experience, and it was the end of an era and the beginning of another one. I was always doing sales in between acting work, and then I decided to give everything up and to live totally through creativity. This was in my early 40s, and I had no idea where my income was going to come from. But actually, I think I was working at that point. I was selling exhibition space, and I was playing my guitar and singing in nursing homes and day centres. That's how really I did the breakaway from the business world into being my own business in a way. So I promoted to nursing homes, daycare centres, hospitals, that sort of thing, and worked within the London area and outside, and set up doing 3 or 4 gigs a week. And I very much enjoyed that work. It was, after Wormwood Scrubs, it was quiet. I could really develop my voice as a singer in a very sometimes challenging environment, but also I wasn't out there having to prove myself in a way, and that made it a very creative and fertile environment for me to develop as a singer. There was a bet that I couldn't write a song with all the most unpoetic words like aluminium, asbestos, nuclear, whatever. So this is the song that came out of that bet, and it's called Once Upon a Child. Child, can you see there's a myrtle tree standing alone in a field of stone, leaves made of aluminium, standing in isolation, atomic germination there. Was a time when there might have been a rock of ages, now it's made of plasticine. La 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 la. Child, when you hear the first sounds of fear, don't try to run from the concrete sun. This is the time for finding rainbows of polystyrene, clouds with asbestos lining there. Was a time when there might have been a rock of ages, now it's made of plasticine. La 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 la. Child, when you feel there is nothing real, look in the eyes of the old and wise, faces of understanding, thoughts of a larger landing, a wisdom and compromising there. I was headhunted to be an activities organiser in a nursing home, and I did that for a few years. And I can't remember what happened after that, but I think then I was living totally as an artist. As I was singing and playing the guitar, I was also beginning to paint. And
So it happened then?
it
your
happened
painting.
during that period. The singing, it was really embracing the creative part of
And why did the painting start? Were you inspired by someone, or how?
Well, yes, it happened through a friend, a French-Italian friend of mine, that was a teacher in a way that was very good for me, because I'd never learnt very well. I hadn't passed any exams very much, apart from music and drama at school, and I thought that I was quite a failure academically. this was a woman that was very much into the flow of life and the beauty and the joie de vivre. And she just used to like sitting in her garden and using some pastels and just, creating something from nothing. And I thought, well, if she can do it and there's no pain involved with it, why not? Don't I try? And I tried, and I really enjoyed it, and started to copy Matisse and Picasso, and they were all a little bit off beam, but I quite liked it, being off beam, and didn't worry me. Then I started going to classes, and then I didn't like it too much because there was so much in the way of pain, and I had learnt through pleasure, and that was a very big door opening for me, that life needed to be pleasurable for me to really expand on knowledge. Certainly at school I had been really my artwork was something that my dad used to do for me, or my brother. I was told I wasn't very good, so I believed that. And actually what I found was that I was just enjoying it, and I didn't need to be good, I just need to enjoy it. And what I did, I found that I had some sort of natural flair that I never knew I had for colour and shape, and certainly not precision, but I was never interested in precision. So when I ended up at the Slade, which was quite a wonderful experience for me. It's quite expensive actually at the Slade, so I was very lucky to get this bursary, and have set one up myself for after my death, because I think that it's a wonderful training, and I would like people who wouldn't get access to the Slade and their wonderful teaching to have that opportunity that I had, because it gave me the confidence to be interested in what I was interested in. And that was very important to me, that they encouraged you to find your voice in your way and to be bold about it. In the wake of my mother's death, and in the wake of my life in relation to my background, and now I was myself really, and who was I really? And that has been a search, I think, through my life. Who am I authentically to be me, as little or big as that is. So that the paintings were part of that. That stopped, and I have got an awful lot of paintings. So what I wanted to do was to find out what's behind my creativity. What makes me me? There's a mystery to it, but I've always been searching. What is the meaning of life? What's it all about? Not that I know now, but I decided to go to reclaim the journey that I didn't do 10 years previously, which was to go on that course that I'd received a bursary for, to do arts and therapy.
So tell me something about the art therapy. How does it work? I mean, what do you do, those people actually? They're coming to you and
Yes.
saying what?
Well, they might say nothing. They might be just being unable to speak. They might be saying their energy might be very difficult to handle for themselves. They might have a story about their lives that they want to understand for themselves. So basically whatever the client is presenting, and from one week to the next week it can be very different, we try and deal creatively with the experience that the client is bringing into the room on that particular day. So it's very spontaneous as far as I see my role, to meet the client, to give the space for them to learn more about themselves in that moment. So they are actually sensing themselves and learning about themselves in the moment of whatever they present in the session that week.
So this is your spiritual home.
This is my spiritual home. This is my school. Who's been important in my life has been with me here, accompanied me in this space, whether I've been performing or sharing it. And I've performed on the lawn here and come and play the violins here in the Suzuki class. It's a sort of timeless, beautiful place where the rest of the world can quieten down a little. Coughing man. Open skies, grey with unshed rain, yellow fields, ploughed tracks leading round bushes. Man coughing and coughing, irritation hitting, biting forth onto the day. Open landscape to heaven knows what, on my way to retreat. Cows stand, meadow banks enclose and comfort like the moon. Sign says, sleepwalk. Coughing, coughing again, the man sips water, sharing table on the train. Haystacks neaten my irritation. Hedgerows grow my tolerance. Maybe it's cancer, like my father's. Cough, cough, coughing until he died. No diagnosis, no diagnosis. Memories unfold as to this path in a complicated relationship. It was hard, it was fun, it was mad, it was bad, it was love, it was hate, it was stifling. It was love, it was hate, it was stifling. It was love, it was hate, it was love.